Okay, but why did you tell my mommy? It's a whole nother bus. Yeah, they got something going on. No, what's coming behind each other? My bus ain't going to be wrong. Yeah. See, how you doing? Nice to hear you talk. How your morning been? Sweet, YouTube, whacking, and podcast. You don't fucking try to get I used to think I was fine. This was George. Yeah. Ain't you know? Ain't you know? I'm ready.
Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's your humble host, Crime Time, back at it with a brand new video. Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications to be notified every single time I drop a brand new video on this channel. Now, today's topic on our Crime Time channel is going to be about the infamous serial killer, Ted Bundy. Without further ado, we're going to get straight into the video. Theodore Robert Bundy Cowell, who is better known as Ted Bundy, was born November the 24th, 1946 to January 24th, 1989. Was an American serial killer who kidnapped, raped, and murdered numerous young women and girls during the 1970s and possibly earlier. After more than a decade of denials, he confessed to 30 murders committed in 7 states between 1974 and 1978. His true victim total is unknown and likely significantly higher. So let's see. He was born Theodore Robert Cowell, November 24th, 1946, in Burlington, Vermont, in the U.S. He died January 24th, 1989, at the age of 42, at Florida State Prison in Rutherford, Florida, in the U.S. The cause of death was electrocution. He was electrocuted. Other names was Chris Hagen, Kenneth Mesner, Officer Roseland, Richard Burton, campus killer, Ruff Miller. Spouse is he had one child. His motive was possession control. Convictions: first degree murder times 3, attempted first degree murder times 3, aggravated kidnapping, burglary. Criminal penalty was 2 death sentences, 1979, 1980. 1 to 15 years in prison in 1976. He escaped June 7th, 1977 to June 13th, 1977, December 30th, 1977 to February 15th, 1978. Details: victims was 20 confirmed, 30 confessed, 36 plus suspected. Span of crimes was from 1974 to 1978. Country: United States. The states were California, Colorado, Florida, Idaho, Oregon, Utah, Washington. Date apprehended was August 16th, 1975. Bundy was regarded as charismatic and handsome and exploited this to win the trust of both his victims and society as a whole. He would typically approach his victims in public places, either fidgeting a physical impairment such as an injury or impersonating an authority figure. before bludgeoning them into unconsciousness and taking them to secondary locations to be raped and strangled. Bundy often revisited his victims' grooming and performing actual acts with the corpse until decomposition and destruction, but about animals being any further interactions possible. He decapitated at least 12 victims and kept their severed heads as mementos in his apartment. On a few occasions, he broke into homes at night and bludgeoned his victims as they slept. In 1975, Bundy was arrested and jailed in Utah for aggravated kidnapping and attempted criminal assault. He then became a suspect in a progressively longer list of unsolved homicides in several states, facing murder charges in Colorado. Bundy engineered two dramatic escapes and committed further assaults in Florida, including three murders before his ultimate recapture in 1978 for the murders, including three murders before his ultimate recapture in 1978. For the Florida homicides, he received three death sentences and two trials. Bundy was executed at Florida State Prison in Rutherford on January 24th, 1989. Biographer Amber described him as a sadistic psychopath who took pleasure from another human's pain and the control he had of his victims to the point of death and even after. Bundy once described himself as the most cold-hearted son of a bitch you ever meet, a statement with which attorney Polly Nelson, a member of his last defense team, agreed. Tad, she wrote, was the very definition of heartless evil. Early life, childhood. Ted Bundy was born Theodore Robert Cowell on November 24th, 1946, to Eleanor Louise Cowell from 1924 to 2012, known by her middle name Elizabeth Loon Home for Unwed Mothers. In Burlington, Vermont, his biological father's identity has never been confirmed. His original birth certificate apparently assigns paternity to a soldier in the United States Air Force, veteran named Lloyd Marshall. The copy of it listed his father as unknown. Louise claimed she met a war veteran named Jack Worthington, who abandoned her soon after she became pregnant. Census records reveal that several men by the name of John Wellington and Lloyd Marshall lived in the area when Bundy was conceived. Some family members expressed suspicions that Bundy might have been fathered by Louis' own father, Samuel Cowell, in the 2020 documentary film Crazy Not Insane. Psychiatrist Dorothy Altno Lewis claimed to have ran the DNA test, which confirmed that Bundy was not the product of incest. For the first 3 years of his life, Bundy lived in the Philadelphia home of the maternal grandparent Samuel in 1896 to 1983, and Eleanor Cowell from 1995 to 1971, who raised him as the son to avoid the social stigma that accompanied births outside of wedlock. At the time, family friends and even young Tad were told his grandparents were his parents and that his mother was his older sister. Bundy eventually discovered the truth, although his recollections of the circumstances varied. He told a girlfriend that a cousin showed him a copy of his birth certificate after calling him a bastard, but he told biographers Stephen Mitride and Hugh Annesworth that he had found the certificate himself. Biographer and true crime writer Ann Rule, who knew Bundy personally, wrote that he did not find out until 1969 when he located his original birth record in Vermont. Bundy expressed a long-lived resentment toward his mother for never talking to him about his real father and for leaving him to discover his true parentage for himself. Bundy occasionally exhibited disturbing behavior at the age. Louis' younger sister Julia recalled awakening from a nap to find himself surrounded by knives from the kitchen at 3 years old, Tad standing by the bed smiling. Bundy childhood neighbor Sandy Holt described him as a bully, saying he liked to terrify people, he liked to be in charge, he liked to inflict pain and suffering and fear. In some interviews, Bundy spoke warmly of his grandparents and told Rule that he identified with respect and clung to his grandfather. In 1987, however, he and other family members told attorneys that Samuel was a clinical bully who beat his wife and dog. Now, if you have not watched the Ted Bundy documentary, I urge you to watch it. I have not watched it. I've seen it on Netflix, but never watched it. Um, and I like to watch documentaries. So if you haven't watched Ted Bundy, or if you do not know about Ted Bundy, I urge you to watch the documentary. I urge you to do the research, and there's been so many horrible serial killers back in the 80s. And I mean, just horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. And the way they torture and kill the victims, and the way they betray the system, and the way that they do things, it's just horrible. And back then, you didn't have fingerprint, DNA, all that back then, like you have today. So imagine you commit murder. The only way you get caught and prosecuted if you confess back then to the murders. It's back then it was hard to get a conviction on murders without technology or without some type of identification of the suspect. So Ted Bundy was a horrible, horrible person, and he deserved 100% deserved what he had got to him, which was execution by electricity. Um, you know, my opinion though, my opinion back then when he was acting out as a child, and the neighbors said that he was um, fascinating knives and bullying people and smiling, and it was he back then he already knew what he wanted to be. It was a he already made up his mind what he wanted to do and what he wanted to be, and obviously he turned out to be a serial killer, and it caused his life, and you know it's hard to be something and don't get caught for a long time doing it. So, you know, committing heinous crimes, if you get caught pulling off a heinous crime, you can get caught and you can't serve time. And it's not easy time, it's hard time. Um, whole story is crazy and bonkers. And he confessed to 30 murders, and that's a lot. Imagine just 30 victims out here, 30 families who have lost their loved ones. That's a lot. That is a lot. It's a lot. And it's crazy. Like, cover, subscribe, turn your post notifications on, thumbs up the video, hit the subscribe. So you'll be notified every single time I drop a brand new video on my channel on Wednesdays. On Wednesdays, let me see. On Wednesdays and Fridays. So Wednesdays and Fridays, please make sure that you watch my videos on Wednesdays and Fridays on Crime Time. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button. It's very important. Also, don't forget to subscribe to Save Our Children TV. That is my first channel. I go on that channel Mondays, Thursdays. Come back here on Wednesdays and Fridays on Crime Time. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification bell for that channel also. And don't forget to go on my reaction channel, Charles Reactions, on Tuesdays and Saturdays. So don't forget to go over there and subscribe and turn that notification bell on and thumbs it up. So you'll be notified every single time I drop a brand new video. Till next time, be easy, take care, and peace.